Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ow. Talk to him. I mean, sometimes you got people going against you and you just gotta go above and beyond all that. Let's go. Straight up the top, just so you know ain't no stopping us. Yeah, I see you been watching us. You could.
Hey, Justin here, aka Facetats McGee on Instagram and Facebook and all that other fun jazz. Today we're going to be talking about how to get a good quality custom tattoo from somebody and get what you're looking for, but have it be creative and also let that artist play to their strengths. Now, I know there's a lot of websites out there right now, stuff like Pinterest and Tumblr and all this stuff that has all of these amazing pictures that people love to see and check out and bring into tattoo shops. Now, if you're a tattoo artist, I also know that you probably struggle with having people bring in this stuff all the time, and you oftentimes don't want to tattoo it because you've probably tattooed a million infinity knots or a million of these other things. And so, kind of what we're talking about today is why it's important, A, to give your artist complete creative control. Don't try to box them in. And I'll give you some good metaphors later on to kind of tell you exactly why that makes sense. As well as why you don't take somebody else's tattoo and ask somebody to reproduce it, and why when artists are willing to do that, i.e. just print out and stencil the other person's actual tattoo, it's kind of disrespectful. And then finally, why all this is good and the benefits that you'll kind of get from being able to do this and give up a little bit of control, but for the long term, getting a much higher quality product. So when you go into a tattoo shop, as example for me, what I ask my clients to do is to go ahead and bring me some reference. Always bring a reference. It's really hard for somebody to know what kind of style you're looking for or exactly what you want to do if you don't have some kind of an example to show them what you're trying to get. Now, that being said, let's not try to just get somebody else's tattoo. It's great to have inspiration for something like that, but I've seen some horror stories that have gone on from just reproducing somebody else's tattoo. Continuing where I was at though, essentially when you bring in reference, what it does is give me a frame of reference that I can then take and create your custom tattoo. Now, what I ask for with all of my clients is pretty much complete creative control. And the reason why is because if you're going to get a house built, let's use this as an example. So you want to have a house built from scratch that's exactly what you want. You want it to be this beautiful, amazing thing. Well, if you're not a drafter or you're not somebody that can write blueprints and do the framing, do the finish work and everything else, you should let the professionals and the real experts play to their strengths. I.e., you say, well, I want a house with a balcony and a pool and an atrium and all this stuff. Big house, I know, right, guys? Any rate, though, so if you ask for those things, you trust the person to know how to write the blueprints to make a structure that will hold together, be aesthetically pleasing, and then get the job done. And all the way down the line, each person trusts the next person to be an expert in what they're doing, the finish work, the framing, the foundation, all of these things, and doesn't try to tell the other person what to do. So essentially, if you go in there and you try to ask an artist each singular, every little bit of detail, what you're trying to do is put the blueprints together for a house and then hold the dude's hand while he's trying to drive the nails. It's just simply put not going to work out very well. And when you let those people do their job, you're going to get a much better tattoo and, as the example would go, a much better house. So continuing on with that same line of reason, if you're not willing to give the person who you're trying to get tattooed by a complete creative control, and you want to try to kind of like box them in or force them into doing a specific style or a specific thing that maybe they're not comfortable with or don't think will look good, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because the reality is if you can't trust somebody to be able to do a good job and take your idea and your meaning and get really creative with it, then you probably shouldn't get tattooed by that person. Which brings me to another point. The reason why I ask so many questions during my consultation process, and I'm so big on getting to know the meaning behind it, is that it allows me to get creative with a way to put that together in a very unique and meaningful fashion. Alright, so moving on here, one of the biggest reasons you don't want to get a tattoo that somebody else already has, and I'm not saying you can't use reference that somebody else already has or do like a realism picture of like a skull or something that somebody else might have a similar, or also use that reference. What I'm saying is when you bring in a tattoo that somebody else already has, you're kind of disrespecting that artist and the person that's wearing that tattoo, the tattooer who you are trying to get to do your tattoo, and yourself, by not letting something that is uniquely you get made for you. And I'll tell you, anybody that's willing to just take somebody else's tattoo, print it out, stencil it, or light table it, or whatever, doesn't have your best interest in mind. And as frustrating as that might be for some people to hear, I feel like that's one of those situations where if the shoe fits, then I guess go ahead and lace that bitch up. So some of the horror stories I've seen with this is you'll get a picture of somebody else's tattoo and they just stencil it and the picture was taken at an angle. Well, oh crap. Now you have a picture that is angled, isn't set, it's going to sit properly on the part of the body you put it on, and then on top of that, I've even seen things go so far as this whole ribcage piece this guy did, and then somebody else stenciled it from a picture and accidentally stenciled the nipple that was in the picture originally, and now somebody else got like the Joker or like the Penguin or something like that, or it might have been the Riddler, and there's a nipple on their arm. So, real talk, that's kind of not good. And I feel like if you're going to spend good money on a tattoo, then you should definitely let somebody create something custom for you. And then finally here, to kind of wrap this up here, because we're pushing at about 6 minutes now, I want to go ahead and thank everybody so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to make these things. I love helping create these videos and inform the public more about the tattoo industry, and to kind of give you guys a peek of what it's all about and how to get the best quality anything you can get. Again, if you want a Ferrari, you're going to have to be willing to let a Ferrari get built how a Ferrari is built, and you're going to have to go to a Ferrari dealership, i.e. you don't go to a low-end used car lot to get a Ferrari. It's just not going to happen. So if you want to get a high-quality tattoo and you want it to be custom and meaningful just for you, there's a few things to remember. You want to go to somebody who you know you can trust. This is not just somebody with a whole bunch of good reviews on Facebook and stuff. Really pay attention to how the reviews are written. 2, you'll want somebody to get to know the meaning behind your tattoo so that you don't end up with something that's just kind of half-assed and put together last minute. 3, bring reference. It's very important to bring reference. It gives us all a frame to work with your tattoo and to be able to create something special for you. Don't get somebody else's tattoo. I think that's enough said, so we really shouldn't have to put much more into that. Shop reputation is also very important. Most importantly here, really guys, you really got to pay attention. I mean, just because your friends say they're dope doesn't mean they're dope. I've seen a whole bunch of tattoos come across my Facebook newsfeed that were train wrecks, and I'm never going to tell somebody that they have a bad tattoo to their face. That would just plain out be rude. But I think we all really kind of know where that stands. So if you want to get a high quality tattoo, generally speaking, the higher end shops are going to charge you more for it. And the reason why is because you're not just paying for that tattoo, you're paying for that artist's lifetime of experience, their willingness to take your idea, get creative with it, and all of those things too. So remember, cheaping out on something that's very meaningful to you is not a good idea. If your mother, your grandmother, your brother, your kid's memory is so important to you, I think it's probably worth an investment of more than $40 or so. So keep all that in mind, and if you guys have any questions, I would encourage you to go ahead and leave them in the comments. I super would love to answer them in another one of my videos. And in the meantime, also, please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos as they come out and more updates. And it'll be more information about the tattoo industry and just life as I see it. So here again, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is the Life and Times of Facetats McGee. And today, we just talked about how to get a good quality custom tattoo from a custom artist in a high-end tattoo shop. Thanks so much for tuning in again. I appreciate all of you. It is a humbling experience to be part of this. All right, thanks guys.